Is it fair to say, and I don't see how you could say that I'm wrong here, you have had an evolving view of Tesla in a very short period of time. And I'm alluding to some comments. You thought it was a Tesla bear, and then the big order for Tesla. But back in June, I think you said Tesla's never had the kind of competition it's going to see from the majors, although you're also known as not being a big fan of the way Detroit was doing business towards the end either. But you said that back in June, and now you're saying the competition that you alluded to in June, they don't have the scale. Only Tesla has the scale to mass produce a great EV. So did it evolve, or did we misunderstand what you were talking about back in June?
Well, over time, I've been making comments around Tesla. And listen, at the end of the day, what Tesla has done is push the industry, and rightfully so, towards electrification and, sustainable transportation. And as you look at our strategy, going forward, again, we want to lead in helping the industry have, the consumers be able to adopt electrified vehicles and do our part in sustainable transportation. And right now, Tesla is the only manufacturer that's producing at scale. So we obviously started having discussions with them. And actually, this is not very transactional. Our two main shareholders started having discussions with Tesla, many months ago, because this is about relationships. And so, from that standpoint, the Tesla relationship is very important to us. But I also want to make the point, Joe, that we have relationships with all of the automakers, and we want to help them as they introduce their electrified vehicles. We're going to them not on a kind of transactional basis. Hey, how can you give us some more cars? It's a strategic discussion that says, how can we help you achieve your objectives? We've done that with Tesla, and our intent is to do that with all of the automakers.
We were having GM CEO Mary Barra on a little bit later in the show. Do you think is anyone in second place? Is everybody besides Tesla tied at some lower? They're all tied in fifth place. What would you say? Ford, General Motors. You've got some of the European automakers and Volkswagen. You got Chinese EV makers. Who's doing well in terms of competition for Tesla in your view?
Well, the good news overall is you're having all of the major automakers make major investments in electrification. And as you know, when I was CEO of Ford, we started doing that as well. And so when you look at the landscape, clearly Tesla was a first mover in this case. And therefore, because they're at scale, that's why we approached Tesla, and we have a great relationship with them. But when you look at the other automakers, General Motors is coming out with many products over the next couple of years. Ford has made a big commitment. Their Mach-E has been very successful in the marketplace. They're coming with the Lightning, the F-150 Lightning, and they've made a number of announcements on their commitment of electrified models that are coming. Volkswagen has been very clear in their pivot to electrified vehicles through their ID4 and ID3 and their whole range of vehicles. So clearly, the major automakers are making a big push in this regard, and that's why it's important for us to talk with them at a strategic level and say, how can we help you? How can we bring our core competencies at Hertz around managing large fleets and help you achieve your objectives?
How much, calculation had to go into the idea of having a big rental fleet, 100,000 cars of EVs? I guess EVs don't break down like normal internal combustion engines, I guess. But Hertz has to be there in terms of support for when they rent someone a car. And then there's charging stations and all those things. I mean, there's a lot of things that would go into someone walking in and saying, yeah, rent me a Tesla at this point. I'd think about it, but I'm old-fashioned. But did that go into the calculation?
Well, absolutely. Listen, you can have a great strategy, but ultimately you got to be able to operationalize it. And so when you look at our relationship with Tesla and the purchase of the vehicles, if you notice when we made the announcement on Monday, it's not only about an investment in vehicles. It's a very big commitment on building out our charging infrastructure, both at our on-airports locations and our off-airport locations. And so from our standpoint, we're operationalizing it and making it easy for customers to rent. They won't have the range anxieties. And I think importantly, Joe, what this is going to do, we are going to become expert on managing large electrified fleets well before our competition. And I think that's going to pay a lot of benefits for us today. And as you think towards autonomy down the road, we think we'll solidify our position or create a bit of a moat on being that kind of central component of the mobility ecosystem, because many providers of products and services are going to need that, and we want to be there for them.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.